What feels like an absolute eternity ago, lockdown started.
You must stay at home.
Everyone had loads of time on their hands, so we learnt skills, we did challenges, and we learnt to work from home. This time that we had is of course an asset. And what do we like to do with an asset? Monetize it. So people were starting businesses, they were monetizing their skills that they were learning, they were doing more and more to try and make the most of that time. But you may not have been one of them, and now lockdown's easing, you might feel like you wasted your time. Today I'm going to tell you 5 different small businesses that you can still start up even after lockdown's coming to an end. But first, if you're watching this video, you're probably a fan of small business. And because of that, you should subscribe to our channel because that's exactly what we do. We tell the story of small businesses from far and wide. We want to know what makes them tick, and we want to show you how impressive small business can be. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for all things small business. In 5th place for the top 5 businesses you can still start is Handmade Accessories. The reason it's the first one we come onto is because you may have seen that Instagram and Twitter and Depop and Etsy are flooded with these handmade accessories. The one joy of this though is that it's relatively easy to differentiate your handmade accessories. It brings me on to lesson 1. Take a skill that you've learnt during lockdown and make the most of that. Some people have been knitting, crocheting, sewing, even using resin or something like that to create art. Handmade accessories also, of course, have a low startup cost, and that is absolutely vital when it comes to a small business starting from home, where you don't really want to be spending a whole load of money to get started. It's relatively risk-free, and it's fun. In 4th place is content production. This is one for the people who don't really need to be making the money right away, but want to have a long-term project to work on. The joy of content production is you literally just need a laptop and a phone. Yes, you can go out and buy cameras and different microphones and things like that, but from the starting point, you literally only need your iPhone or your smartphone. It's really enjoyable to do, and there's an absolute world of options. Basically, you can take whatever you're interested in and begin to produce content about it. Are you a football fan? Go make football content. Are you a fan of small business? Subscribe to our channel. I'd say this probably suits more to the younger generations, but regardless of what age you are, anyone can start producing content on YouTube or producing content for other people. And it brings me swiftly on to lesson 2 about these small businesses, is that this sort of thing will hone your social media skills. And honestly, in business now, social media is one of the most important things you can learn to grow, learn to understand, and just generally improve upon. So learning these social media skills from content production is a massive plus to this idea. Number 3 is cooking or baking and selling your products from that. It takes into account lesson 1, which is using a skill you've learnt in lockdown. I know millions of people have started baking. Flour was off the shelf for weeks and everyone was producing these new loaves of bread, cakes, brownies, all sorts. And honestly, they always look really good. Secondly, this can also hone your social media skills because Instagram accounts that produce food and baking content look incredibly aesthetic, and that's a really big part of building a following. It also allows you to start it up at your own pace. You can basically decide whether you want it to be cheap or slightly more expensive. You can judge what you think is best for your baking company, which is great for a small business when you have to be versatile and dynamic in what you're making and creating. It also brings me on to a 3rd lesson about producing these sort of lockdown small businesses, and it's advertise locally. Especially at the start, local advertising can cut down delivery costs because you're able practically to hand deliver your baked goods. It also limits your initial competition, and even if you start going through friends and family with your products, you will then grow into a wider network of people. When it's local, you're much more likely to get that word of mouth marketing, people telling other people about your products, and if they're good enough, you will grow. Number 2 is a slightly more interesting one. I'm calling it the gift box. The whole idea of a gift box is you have a variety of different things, whether it's food, perfumes, candles, different things like that. It's all packaged up nicely in one place, and you give it as a gift to somebody. The joy of a gift box is you can collaborate with other small businesses or small creations, such as the handmade accessories, the baked goods. You can take everyone else's products and help to spread their name through your gift box, while also getting their products in your gift box for a cheaper price. It can create relationships between you and other small businesses, which could help build up your next gift box. Around holiday seasons, this can be a really big seller. You're providing good exposure for the other small businesses, and also it takes me on to lesson 4, selling on different platforms. A gift box can be sold everywhere, whether you're selling it on Facebook, Instagram, Etsy, even eBay and Amazon. You have such a variety of different platforms you can sell on, and making the most of each of them, depending on your market, is really important for maximising your sales. Finally, number 1 is the Zoom class. The Zoom class can be anything from fitness to academics. You can teach music over Zoom. You can practically teach anything. If you have a tangible skill that you've either learnt over lockdown or already know, perhaps you know how to speak 5 languages, you can take that and market your own skills as a teacher. Over lockdown, people have certainly got used to doing things on Zoom, and while people may be tedious of it, it is still a really valuable business asset. Another joy of it is our 5th lesson: start free. If you start with what you've got, you're not really putting anything on the line. You're giving yourself the opportunity to explore your small business capabilities. And given with the Zoom class you only need a laptop, which I presume the majority of people watching this would have, it makes it so much easier for you to get started. You can also record Zoom calls in order to create different clips for your social media platforms. You can create YouTube channels just from your lessons, and from that you can build an actual brand instead of just a small business. That's why I think the Zoom class is absolutely the top small business you can still start. It's versatile, it takes a skill you've used in lockdown, it can hone your social media skills, and it's practically free. If you have something to teach, teach it. The most important tip I can give you with these 5 small businesses is that social media is absolutely key. Building an audience on any social media platform gives you an opportunity to sell more units of whatever you're making. The less time you spend talking about it and the more time you spend doing what you want to do with your small business, the more opportunity you'll have to make your sales, and the more opportunity you'll give yourself to be a success. I wish you all the best in your small business adventures. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and I really hope to see you and your small business very soon.